the top 5 teams in the NFL. Number 5, the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is a cumulative ranking. Mm-hmm. Number 5 was the Eagles.
Where did you have them? I'm curious.
I had them at like 7, 8.
Okay. I actually, as I thought more and more about it, I moved them up my rankings for the idea that they addressed a lot of their concerns outside of linebacker. That's still a concern if I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, but going to the draft, Quinyon Mitchell, to me, who I think was the best cornerback prospect off the board. Cooper DeJean, shout out. He now comes in. I don't know if he'll be playing safety or not.
Playing safety.
That which makes sense. You bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That is obviously going to be a huge boost to the secondary. Although was banged up last season. The year before that led the league in interception.
Bradbury still sucks.
Bradbury's not good.
He's a safety now.
He's done. Isaiah Rodgers was suspended last year. Will come back this year. There's depth at the cornerback position that they did not have last year. On the offensive side of the ball, you lose Jason Kelce. That's a huge blow. Your offensive line's still going to be great. Jalen Hurts now healthy, huge. Saquon Barkley in the backfield, enormous. A.J. Brown, Smitty, arguably top 2, top 3 wide receiver duo in the National Football League. On the defensive line, excuse me, you did lose Reddick to the Jets. Fletcher Cox does retire, but Jalen Carter now gets more snaps. That's a win. Bryce Huff, have to see how that transpires in terms of he wasn't great in the run, but obviously he's great to get in at the quarterback. The defense should be a lot better than it was last year. Offense should be a lot better than it was last year. That's going to translate to successful.
With new DCs and OCs.
Yep. Kellen Moore and, of course, Vic Fangio. This team's better than it was last year.
I'm pessimistic on the Eagles. And the reason why is because a lot of their success relies on ifs, on if this happens, if that happens, if this happens.
Is it?
One thing we know.
Is that not true with the Chargers?
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
This is the thing. One thing we know about the Eagles is Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts don't get along. Vic Fangio, they don't. They don't.
They had a rough, rocky patch.
Vic Fangio comes from Miami, a place that he just got fired from. He is respected. You know, he is one of the innovators in how a lot of defenses play today. But in Miami, with better defensive personnel, was not good there calling defensive plays. And I'm supposed to believe he's going to suddenly fix the Eagles, who have worse personnel. I look at their defense. They didn't do anything at linebacker to make me feel more confident about them. So the run defense, I think, is still going to be pretty bad. Fletcher Cox retires. Last year, Josh Sweat didn't make much of an impact. Brandon Graham is now a year older. On the defensive line, Jalen Carter, I love his upside. But there are 2 different parts of Jalen Carter last season. The first start of the season, he was really good. He was amazing. In the second half, he totally disappeared and was a shell of himself as a player. Jordan Davis has not developed like how we would have hoped thus far. He hasn't done it yet. And then Nolan Smith is getting reps with the third teamers in preseason. This defensive line that Howie Roseman has invested into, outside of I think Bryce Huff's going to be a star in this pass rushing role with the Eagles. This defensive line is a far cry from the defensive line that went to Super Bowl when they got the most sacks ever in the season. This is not that same level of defensive line. And when you're trying to sell me on rookie corners coming in and making an immediate impact, when that position historically has struggled with rookies, and Quinyon Mitchell is coming from a very weak college conference, there's a lot of things that got to go right. Isaiah Rodgers suspended 1 year. I'm sure that's going to affect him. Darius Slay being a year older, he's now 33 years old, and corners tend to drop off at that type of age range.
We've seen, over the last 2 or 3 years, corners come in and be really good, though.
Wait, what rookie? Who?
Joey Porter's come in. Tariq Woolen's come in. Sauce has come in. Devon Witherspoon's come in. Derek Stinley's come in.
All right, how many have failed, though? Elam has been a failure.
Who?
For Elam, the first-round pick.
Yes.
There are more.
Don't be pessimistic, though. I mean, Quinyon's a great
I'm not
prospect.
being pessimistic. I'm saying I'm not relying on the Eagles as a whole. I don't think the corner, because they have different expectations. They have different expectations. The Eagles,
insane.
I'm not counting on their rookies to make huge immediate impacts and shore up the major holes they have at the secondary. I think they can be okay, but are they going to be above average starters in year one? I don't.
All they need to do is be okay. They were bad last year.
And then with the offense,
just having bodies is a win.
I think having just the stars on offense will make up for a lot of things. But how much of a drop off does the tush push now take with Jason Kelce not being there? Jason Kelce, who was a fixture in managing the protections of the offense and calling out those things was there for a long time. There's now more responsibility on Jalen Hurts.
If they're at the 1 yard line, no Jalen Hurts. Here you go, Saquon. Have fun. They're good.
Us losing the tush push is going to be a big drop off.
The tush push was a 90% play.
We just picked up Saquon Barkley.
Saquon is amazing at the goal line.
And you lost Jason Kelce. That's going to make an impact on the
But we just picked up Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, but okay.
We still have Lane.
I love Saquon.
We still have Jordan Love. Like, we still have dude.
The offensive line's still goated.
And I look at the Eagles last year, and we look at the collapse they had in the second half of the season.
Ass.
When they started off 10-1, they weren't an elite team. They won a ton of close games. Even the first week of the season,
great comp.
The first week of the season, they faced a Patriots team that they only won by 5 points. One of the worst teams in the NFL. The Eagles, to me, were
fool's gold.
Exactly what they ended up as a team that lost in the wild card, and I think. They're not a Super Bowl contender this year. They're not.
I think their floor is really safe. Like, I get it. The ceiling, there's some questions there because you're bringing in new coordinators. Defensively, there's a lot of potential issues, especially with rookies and guys moving on and bringing new guys in. But their floor, to me, seems really safe. Like, I think this is a team that should be favored to win the division. This is a team that should very easily win double-digit victories.
Did you get to us? Anything could happen.
And I think moving on from Brian Johnson going to Kellen Moore is going to be a big uptick, too. I mean, this was a team that was dead last in terms of motion rate. Kellen Moore has been atop all of the NFL when it goes to Dallas with the Chargers, especially when Justin Herbert was healthy, among the league leaders in motion. And when you look at all the best offenses, motion is basically littered through the top 10 offenses in the NFL. So the ceiling of Super Bowl, TBD. But I still think Jalen Hurts has potential to be top 5 quarterback any given year. This offense is so stacked with star power and great offensive line. To me, the question really just comes from the defense. If Bryce Huff is able to take another step in his development and become a 3-down player, of course, Hassan Reddick, it's going to be hard to
replace him.
Yeah, replace him for sure. But we saw Bryce Huff in limited snaps be one of the best, most efficient pass rushers in the NFL. So I think he get double-digit sacks. That second is concerning though. If you can't stop the run, if you can't stop the pass,
the Eagles are nice.
What are you doing
how
offenses?
How many Super Bowl contenders in the NFC?
The Lions, Niners fully healthy, the Packers.
I don't see how the Eagles are not in that conversation.
They're not.
The Eagles aren't in that similar.
I don't see how the Eagles are not in that
group with the Packers.
You're assuming the Packers defense
That's unfair.
steps up.
The Packers defense has to take a huge lead.
The Packers last year were a top 12 defense in the league.
You didn't feel
they were
that
12th
way,
in points allowed.
Yeah, but I didn't feel that way.
No, I didn't. But they have the talent of that. The thing is that the Eagles lack that talent.
I think the Eagles have the talent to do it.
They don't have the talent.
I think you're relying on some rookies and some young players, but they have talent.
They don't.
So, okay.
Right. I mean, the Packers relied on a lot of rookies last year.
I think the Eagles are like a 9-10 win team. They're not going to win like 11 or 12 or 13 games. They're not.
I'll take over 9 wins.
You want to do 10?
Bro, 9 is
10 or more?
Or you want to do 11?
10 or more,
I'll give you 10.5.
10
if they're going to win the NFC East,
10 or more.
They should win 11
10 or more. 11?
A Super Bowl contender should win 11 games.
What's our schedule?
Sometimes you get a wild card and get hot.
That's a fact. That's really the truth.
I mean, every Super Bowl contender last year won 11 games or more.
Who's the Super Bowl contender? Your Cowboys? Is that who you're pointing at?
Well, they won 12 games, but even if
they
were
hilariously not one.
Yeah, they were way better than the Eagles, though.
Way better.
Last year they were.
They got smoked by 30 at home.
They both lost in the same round.
Team. You got smoked by the Buccaneers.
We lost on the road. They were in their building and lost at home.
The Eagles were cooked going into that game.
Yeah, we were already done. They went to a home game and lost by 30.
What did the Eagles do this offseason to make sure a repeat of what the Cardinals did to them doesn't happen?
Get a new OCDC.
Bro,
I don't think you realize how bad our coaching staff was.
Cardinals, because the Cardinals,
the
ran the shit out of the ball on them.
Yeah, for sure. Our offense wasn't that good that game.
Okay, but I'm saying,
I don't think you realize how bad our coaching staff.
No, your offense was good that game. Yes, it was. Look at Jalen Hurts' stats. Jalen Hurts had 300 yards.
I know we put up a lot of points, but if you watch the game, we were stagnant a good amount of time.
You guys were ass against almost every bad team down the stretch. Which is why I think
lost 6 of the last 7.
And you guys didn't really do that much. You guys made a big splash move in Saquon Barkley, but it's not going to really move me much in the landscape of what this team looks like. You got the Eagles and the Cowboys this year, even with the Cowboys not making offseason moves at all, they're neck and neck. The Cowboys defense is more talented than Eagles defense.
Yes, I'm
100%.
Sure.
Are they not?
Jalen Hurts threw for 167 yards.
Our offense was not that good.
3 touchdowns, 1 INT. had a passer rating of 118. Pretty good.
You're right. 300, I was bugging because the Cardinals chewed the fuck out of
No,
the
but
clock.
118 passer rating is amazing.
He had
I
three
don't think it was
touchdowns
that.
in
I
that
don't think
game.
it was that game he threw 300. I think it was Seattle.
But he did throw an INT to end the game, if I'm not mistaken.
This was the
Did in that
Cardinals game.
Seattle game, he definitely threw.
Listen, I'm in a mode where the Eagles are going to
No, I'm
have
right.
to.
He did throw an 19 to end the game.
The Eagles are going to have to win my trust back based off how
we
last
got Green
season
Bay.
ended.
We got Green Bay the first week.
Oh yeah,
So-
you're going to lose.
Oh, that's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, we got Green Bay the first week. So
That's going to be a very
we got
easy
Green
out
Bay
for you
first. We
In
got
Brazil.
Atlanta.
Can't wear green.
Green Bay, Atlanta, then the Saints, then the Bucks, then Cleveland, then the Giants, the Bengals, Jaguars, Cowboys, Commanders, the Rams, the Ravens, the Panthers, Steelers, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants.
Oh, yeah, it's
This
not
is
a tough
11.
schedule.
This is an 11-win team.
Okay.